just laugh at the same time. It's so sad. Oh, what? That's today. Let's see what that shows right now. Just realized this as my legs asleep, foot's asleep. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me mute this before it gets too loud in my house. Too many pedophiles. Oh, yeah, there's already a few pedophiles in this house, and I don't want to deal with all the pedophiles going over me at any point. So I just don't want to deal with it. And to think of all the pedophiles in my head that tried to jump in into the other parts, like, holy shit, you're all fucked for life. Be right back.
Advantage. I was making.
Day 2 of the finals, not day 1. I was hoping that was day 1 that I was still waiting for, but that's where it's out of the schedule. But I had to do it on Friday. Savage, and today's Saturday. And Savage. That's what I get for not having a good day yesterday. I couldn't figure out why. Yeah, I have to look through all this data as if it were like live. It's gonna be such a fucking nightmare. It makes sense. Even the whole broadcasting schedule for PUBG, how they start off late, is like, it says 7, but it's like 4 our time or something. 4 p.m. our time, which makes sense. By the time they end, it's like another 4 hours from there. So yeah, like 8, and then in the other countries it would be like 11. So it makes sense. They're just trying. That's how this happened. These are all the people that got expatted to other countries for not siding with pedophiles in the end. And then all the pedophilia died, and I was born, and now we're reliving life for siding with a bunch of pedophiles that used a bunch of people that they fed shit to control my body for a whole fucking life, for all you people to stress and suffer for. That's crazy. Whatever. No one gave a fuck anyways. Bob over here still trying to figure
Hey,
out where
it's you, my.
and what really happened. Savage.
I'm an honest man.
That's so savage. They're wearing that skull outfit because I wore it in this pledge. They're wearing this outfit. One of them wore it and got ran over for that reason. Oh man. Just because I've been sweating getting vehicle kills and I thought this guy got a vehicle kill and his teammate jumped out, but in reality it was just staged to make it look like that, just to prove what shit I'm really going under. For anyone that sees that conversation will know exactly how, will at least have a better glimpse as to how many what shit situation I'm really in. So people will claim that I'm on their side, but really I'm just dying. So anytime I'm nearing the pedophiles, that's what it is. That's what the main conversation is. Even in my head or in the true sense you see me in. And they just get plagiarized, torture. I wonder what it means to me though. That's what I was trying to get to. I'm just fucked. Damn, 3 knock frag grenade, and these guys did not even see it or hear it. I did not see it in a close up because you're listening to your audio and your head is what they're saying. This audio is playing back and forth because they can't figure out what the heck is wrong. So it's so interesting for them. And how to deal with it without having to get rid of those little plastic, or not plastic, but cotton hat, like, covers that they have. That's where all the gear comes out. So it causes all the sound issues. It's causing them to have random thought process issues, as I can tell, based off of per conversation type structure that I maintain in order to see what conversation they're in and how their conversation flows. I don't really understand all of it, but I mean, I wish I did. Don't text me if you're just gonna waste my time. Savage. Whatever. Few game matches. Already having a bad day. said it. I still have one overall conversation that I tried pointing out, but it kind of backfired. Stay savage. This is how hot it really gets when having to stage it. There's a total damage I flipped out. That's from Americans supposed to be snow got rated by that's how snow became so pivotal. I was like, what? No way. I didn't really think it had, come up. Of course I thought it like that, but I didn't want to say it like that. So, real. So yeah, you just didn't want to say what I said. I said something stupid like that. I don't like doing it. But it was from dream state to dream state. Shocking. Now I'm just trying to recollect everything based off of how they send me like beacons of information. Shit to recollect everything. Half these matches are pre-staged by their networks, so they allow their kids to go into dream states to set up what their kids are actually going to do 100% based off of who's controlling them and whatnot. So it's like overall staged, and I'm like, what? No way. Cool. Max height value, cool. Oh, look. This is a ditch for my skill. Teammate can hit the top. Makes sense. That's hilarious. Oh, man. So supposedly, like how everything goes, we were sacrificed, betrayed for everything by a bunch of pedophiles. We're all technically all the same age. The different factions that you see, different groups and ages and whatnot, are technically, even when you see them from your own group, they're all like technically the same age. They're all just like employees, but superheroes in this point. They're all superheroes that all signed up for my plan to save the world and whatnot. So as a result, everyone's structured to my business structure, kind of like Boss Baby. They're all filtered and born at different eras that I. So it makes sense as to why all these females that are attracted to me because they were basically of the same age and at those in the previous life before they became my employees. They were my same age, so they had to deal with the same stuff I had to deal with. So I mean, it's just like natural for them to click with me, to match with me, and not all the pedophiles that are just moving around a bunch of pedophiles with a bunch of pedophiles. Worse when pedophiles use my image, just because pedophiles are like, oh well, we're already dead and we didn't have an image or anything, so yeah, pedophiles roaming around lying to us, lying to this, your fault. I'm like, not really, and die. No. states, and they're actual like they're actual pedophiles, like the worst pedophiles, but they're actually the worst pedophiles I've ever known. The pedophiles will basically falsify like what floor I was just on, due to the fact that I usually, or I mean accurate, and some of these are not visual. Memorization. Oh, honest. Sorry. Like, not honest. It's not really considered honest, so I'm trying to think of what the. So, I sometimes have to remember stuff. So that's what I said. Oh, they're up on the hillside. But one of these buildings has windows on the, or some of these buildings had windows on the side that you could jump through based off the network. See, the pedophiles set it up. You see how both pedophiles ran off to the side and staged where their pedophiles would have an opening to hack. Oh man. That's how the pedophiles roam around from network to network. Of course I'm gonna know. Pedophiles got mad. Pedophiles tried lying for me, and I'm like, no, I'm legitimately strategically working on my KD. And actually, it's really my win ratio and KD. I didn't care about anything else this whole season. I was just so racked. Pedophile even sided with pedophile. I thought he could distribute any of my stuff. That's how pedophiles roamed around for a while. So with every pass, they show the different renditions that pedophiles basically ran with that kill. They still show like glimpses and pieces of the other conversation, but since it's pedophile networks, they just do that to false information. Well, that makes sense. No wonder I don't stress out. Oh man, no wonder I don't stress out about pedophiles doing this shit. I'm like, oh, I already dealt with it. It's just other remedials or pedophiles trying to trigger me. Well, that, but they're trying to call out pedophile and everything pedophile forced them all into. All the pedophiles were roaming around falsifying information. Makes sense why that SKS was like a DP28 shot timing value. They show everything. Then they altered it after you noticed that it has a suppressor. After you consciously made 2 and 2 do that. That's crazy. That's why in a previous Scream state, the guy was able to walk away from the grenade in that 3-person mashup from the grenade. That's why the kill cam, where the body dies how it dies. Like, oh man, I should have known. Instead of falling back and exploding, or I mean, like an explosion. But it's due to the fact that the vehicle explodes right after, but at a delayed ratio to show where his brain thought he still had a chance to deal with the explosives. due to the fact that the vehicle didn't explode in other networks. Pedophiles have been altering vehicle or the thickness of metal due to how often pedophiles rape females and break into different networks. And all these pedophile networks are falsifying information from pedophiles. And they claim to be doing other classified. It's based off of how the script, how I exposed them before, and now how the script, how the pedophiles finally got hit with all the actual damages, because they saw the damages, they were forced to rescript in order to avoid the damages, and then they started getting hit for reals for being a bunch of pedophiles and still continuing on with pedophilia and thinking that their pedophilia wouldn't be exposed. So they all just sat on that hillside, and one by one they got picked off until the camera chose to switch and alter what's actually going to happen and how the pedophiles' brains think. That's why they're like, oh, we just kept them frozen. That's why they do the whole next scene where they have it where they make it look like one of the characters that they see through the wall is like frozen, like paused in time, like, oh yeah, we're trying to reset. Sorry, that's not the right word, but they were trying something, I forgot what to say. Reset, basically, just hit. So I just reset them. They're all still on my side. That's what it is. All the players are. They haven't abided by any of the pedophile organizations. Any of the pedophiles have been around pedophiles. Because they finally saw how much I actually went through just to get to where I'm at. That's why the reset hit. That makes sense. And right as I say reset again, it says match has ended. Like, and I didn't even see how it pans out. Who kills who or what? Like an unfun match, almost to point out that that's what it becomes. That's what I used to point out. It's like anything I have to deal with is just not even fun. A win isn't even fun. A win doesn't even look good. Just make sure you segregate pedophiles' conversations from any of the conversations in the match, and you'll have a fucking high scale, high paid match. Opposed to a bunch of fucking six-ad. Oh wait, never mind. Opposed to a bunch of stuff that the pedophiles known as like the UN and other pedophiles that are supposed to be world peacekeeping organizations falsify. They're like, oh, that conversation never happened. That's what the pedophiles will roam around doing for pedophiles. Match has ended again. The pedophile that went around claiming that got killed instantly, wrecked. Match has ended. Pedophile out by himself, solo. Two guys out in the building. What'd you just say, pedophile? As they had him re-say what I just said, and then because they all scripted it. Because the players are like, oh well, that's not me in the game. Fuck you, pedophile bitch. Chose to side with pedophiles. We're using him against pedophiles now. It's their fault. I mean, that's the only thing you could do. I mean, when they disobey that much, there's nothing you can do about it. Your touchscreen stops responding. You can't do shit about it. You're like, oh no, these are just fucking in-game lies and characters. No, it's electricity-based realities. And scripted, so they have multiple networks where they falsify you being the main person controlling your own fucking control. It's like 3 to 4 different fucking remedial ass pedophile bitches. It's like the joke. It's not really the joke. It's how your thought processing and electricity and how your fingers actually, or how the electricity actually finally decides to map to what portion of your touchscreen or finger portion, whatever. And what company actually has control of what your touchscreen's algorithms will latch onto and match onto. Because at times it just seems random, but it's really just set up by by worse pedophiles that roamed around with pedophiles, and they're now just covering everything up because they're like, oh, we got Face's face now. We're just gonna fucking ruin everyone's life because he's stuck thinking that we're not on pedophile side. I'm like, nah, fuck no. Pedophiles and pedophiles are gonna get exposed. Stop using my image at any fucking point. Stop using my image. Pedophiles using my image grosses me out. Fuck no, they use it for all the wrong reasons. Never to like protect any kids, never to protect anyone. It's just not worth my time anymore. I'll go out there and protect the kids myself and the networks when I get a chance. Due to how much these pedophiles did through that whole Slender Man fucking issue. I'm supposed to have an hour clip all the time here. I go for 5 minutes of that. I mean, nothing but that. 5 minutes. It's only because conversations for other reasons as to why I don't have a good, why I don't have get like good videos, or why I don't set these events up to like 50 minutes where where through some people you'll just see 50 minutes of losses. And I'm like, because I don't get paid, why would I make them think that they're gonna get 50 minutes of wins? If I were getting paid the real amount, then I could at least sit and watch them win, opposed to just getting an in-game stuff off what's actually happening in my real life. So I mean, when I said it like through money-based type arguments at the very least, you could say, yeah, I'm getting paid enough to where I should be winning like this. But I'm not. So that's not how it happens. And the pedophiles try to go around with pedophile. Oh, we'll just edit it by the time. Fat pedophile announcer even tries to like talk shit by raping some females. Who raped you? I mean, who just sided with? Who raped you? That's how the pedophile gets them to say who they sided with. While also pointing out that pedophile had raped them. And that's how pedophile had gotten them to side with pedophile and him. Or I mean, sorry, and pedophile. With pedophile and pedophile. Technically him and pedophile. The pedophile lost his face to pedophile. That makes sense. That's why they thought these pedophiles were already dead in their world, so that they could joke around. Pedophiles raped a bunch of females. They're not really considered dead. They're like dead. Their physical bodies and everything have died. They have died as a whole and have died like anything that creates life, since they're not worthy of life itself anymore. But the pedophiles still roam around, haunting everyone through light that they raped from other people. That's how these pedophiles roam around as characters and whatnot in video games. They rape a bunch of females, and that's what it was. They go from body to body, almost like you see this outfit. Anyone could be wearing it. The pedophiles would just switch faces with them, almost like that movie Face Off, but in a more devastating religion to religion cover-up type way that the pedophiles won't ever point out, because all these pedophiles went around raping so many females that the actual Hollywood that was created was actually in retaliation to all these pedophiles. So all the females that these pedophiles had raped, I hired a bunch of people from Hollywood, even the ugliest fucking pedophiles, such as Nicolas Cage. That pedophile's an actual pedophile. He rapes and shit. He's part of the pedophiles. He just claims to be part of like My Hollywood, John Travolta, and all those other dumb pedophiles that break away because they're too stupid to stay on one side. It's no other fucking reason. No one wants to be part of pedophiles. Look at it. Look how ugly John Travolta is to all the other pedophile community. The pedophiles are even like, ugh, ugly pedophile rape bitches to get popular. That's where his personality. Hey. No, that's pedophile raping you during a conversation. He drags your body into his body. That's what females have attested to. The pedophile basically throws himself onto you and rapes you as he talks to you. Like, hey, this is what this body motion is for. So you don't understand it or see it and are grossed out so quick that you walk away from it. That's what the pedophiles ended up teaching each other after pedophiles got exposed by the hires, like pedophiles, like Travolta and whatnot, that sided with pedophiles in the end. But while they were hired, they were still gaining mass notoriety at mass rates due to the fact that they sided against pedophiles. And the pedophiles all got exposed. And the pedophiles claim to be on my side, even when I say that I'm going to lash out like this because you're not going to listen. But be ready for it. But be ready to also be on my side, because you're technically, if you don't, you're still going to, well, I'm going to call you a pedophile regardless. So I mean, I can't say I'm not going to. You sided with pedophiles. Pedophiles are still roaming around plagiarizing my work right now. I made the mistake of giving someone dignity and not calling them a pedophile. It ruined my life. So yeah, no, I'm gonna still call you pedophiles for siding with pedophiles and bringing pedophiles into my life and thinking it would be a fucking joke to revive me. Just because you guys raped my brother, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it, and you guys raped my body and thought I wouldn't be able to eventually regain control of it. So I mean, however you pedophiles get your allegiance with pedophiles, that's how pedophiles roamed around. So I mean, I won't ever side with pedophiles regardless. So the pedophiles all roamed around, losing their hair consistently, aging, and fat, ugly pedophiles. Contrary to what pedophiles have told them. Well, if you're on my side and you rape bitches and shit, you won't ever age again. There's a pedophile, Mark over here, pedophile from PUBG. The pedophile never aged a day in his life because the pedophile sided with me. That's how the pedophile roamed around in his real life. The real pedophile. That's why it's impossible to find any information on these pedophiles, because the pedophiles, first off, aren't worthy of having information on anyone's network. But the pedophiles roam around from network to network violating people, and that's how these pedophile bitches go off of that 100 set. Oh, that's why it's Car 98 with no scope. And the pedophiles put it near. Oh, that's why, because I wouldn't ever leave it like near another weapon like that often. Oh yeah, no, I don't ever leave it near something I'm not really searching. So that's how the pedophiles are trying to throw me off in dream states. I really only drop loot wherever I'm actually. So I try to violate a few randoms that got raped by pedophiles by setting up number systems based off of how the pedophiles tortured them. Pedophile got mad, but I wouldn't listen to any of these pedophiles. Like, oh, we control you perfectly by raping you, so whatever, man. I'm like, you just think I'm gonna say we control you perfectly and that's it, but no, you're a pedophile, so you pedophiles are out for good. Pedophile was kicked out, died of cancer. Pedophile became some disgusting pedophilia spew of pedophilia. Tried lying to the community and still became a grotesque looking pedophile as he already was. Pedophile had even set up a bunch of autonomous companies that would release throughout the years after Pedophile died. And Pedophile would claim to have no affiliation with them, as the pedophiles went around polluting the media stream and whatnot. And the pedophiles did this for a few years, actually, which is kind of crazy. But that's how the pedophiles raped one of my brothers also, through their whole fucking pedophile network of pedophiles that no one had known. Even the pedophiles themselves that had basically beat these pedophiles had no idea that these pedophiles were staging this shit like this. And that's how they had contacted my brother. To contacting me, and eventually my brother getting my body, me getting him a chance in life, and then him getting raped out of everything as a result. It's not because I took a chance. It's because my brother got persuaded into a negative chance that was seen as like an opportunity. It wasn't really an opportunity to basically offset and find his sanity, basically get his freedom from a bunch of pedophiles. But the pedophiles had it written as other, and the whole pedophile community eventually exposed themselves to him. Like, oh, we really thought you had a chance, and it's like the fat pedophile that's announcing right now is basically, and then they cover it up by going along with the joke whenever I say the joke. But it's not a joke to me. But to the pedophiles, it's a joke, so the pedophiles instantly chime in. And they rape them. That's how this whole galaxy, this whole pedophile galaxy was created. I'm Milky in the Milky Way galaxy, but without me, it's a pedophile galaxy of a bunch of pedophiles that raped a bunch of pedophiles that were associated with the original Milky Way galaxy. But pedophilia saw to it as other and wasted everyone's time. Not to bash the pedophiles for being a bunch of pedophiles, but if they wouldn't have gone out and sided with pedophiles so often, ruining all my stuff, everything would have panned out well. It would have gone well. It would have been a good, successful mission to gaining something for your lives. to progress in life, towards progressing towards your end game in life, opposed to like what a bunch of pedophiles basically tried writing in after lying to you and telling you, oh yeah, we'll separate you from pedophile. Pedophile will have a chance against you, but in the end, pedophile Mark, technically pedophile from PUBG, and all these pedophiles ended up lying to everyone, and they would get them raped by pedophiles and pedophiles. That's how they got raped by the pedophiles, and all these separate segments that they didn't want to deal with her because they didn't know who should be belong to, and the only way they knew how to separate themselves from them, for her in this case, is by putting her to pedophiles would sell them sell the females to dogs and whatnot, and they would sell them back to the males, technically my brother, and my brother would just sell them back to the dogs, and the dogs would eventually some of the pedophiles would eventually misconstrue how the dogs actually acquired the females. The dog race actually acquired females from pedophiles that would go around raping them, and then eventually they got sent back. Or not raped from, and that was usually the dogs, since the dogs had no idea that pedophiles were sending them females that were being raped from different galaxies and souls from different people in galaxies. So this is how all these pedophiles really went around from generation to generation. They're like, oh look, I lived like 1 billion plus years now because I went and raped someone's fucking wife. But in reality, what they were getting was that transition period of the fluctuation of energy fluctuating from being unstable to a constant stable, to where eventually the pedophiles get exposed for everything that they were doing, because they were messing around with a bunch of little kids' emotions and whatnot, and were claiming to be friends of the people that the pedophiles were raping. And the kids had no idea, and the kids were so controversially wrought with the word pedophile. Like, pedophile? Well, pedophile looks like a normal person. Pedophile's a pedophile, though. And that's how it basically turned into, like, after 1 billion plus conversations to stop pedophiles from influencing little kids, pedophiles eventually would go around claiming to be little kids. And then all the pedophile community would falsify that information by using someone like me protecting little kids. And the pedophiles would basically go around raping the little kids in the background, as all the other pedophiles that are basically powerless but are trying to claim to be powered or have some power with all the pedophiles that they're creating their fucking pedophile fucking cesspools with. The pedophiles would get shut down first off, and would eventually end up even getting, well, actually, they were already getting raped by pedophiles, so it just turned into like a cesspool of pedophilia, just manipulating and falsifying so much information, because they don't ever side with me. This is what you have to remember, though. The conversation is just now happening right now. This conversation happened over 60 years ago in order for me to be born. Pedophiles had everyone manipulated, is what you have to remember. I'm the smartest that there will ever be. Everything and anything that ever got close to me became smart or became evil, and most of these pedophiles became evil. So I mean, that's basically what happened. That's like life as a whole. And there's no way to counter any of it. Like, these conversations have been going for centuries. Oh, and the reason that these had an end in the beginning for a while now is because most of them can be autonomously predetermined as, no, you're a pedophile trying to get into my stuff. And the pedophiles are like, well, I'm going to misconstrue it and change it up anyways. No way. That's what I get for playing call. And then he's getting third-partied even. ditch into the water to swim over. Oh, he's trying to flank me. I think he saw me run. Maybe I can get him before he runs at me through the city. As I was just about to run down this side, he shows up. Pedophiles are staging a poetry raid. Dude, that's so crazy. That's how they try to break into your kids' heads. Oh. Well, we broke into this other famous streamer that you have no idea. We're gonna rape your kids anyways. Is the new actual conversation. The actual, not even conversation, but the actual. It's what they legitimately tell your kids. Like, holy shit. And they do it to mock them. Like, oh, you can't do shit. Boom. That's how pedophilia roamed around from state to state. Pedophile to pedophile. And by pedophile to pedophile, you even have a prime example. Pedophile Trump to pedophile Biden. Pedophile to pedophile. That's how these pedophiles went around raping and plagiarizing, raping underage females in everyone's network, claiming that it was they're not even close to underage kids. Or they're not even close to their fucking 50-year-old plus pedophile friends and shit. That's how all the pedophiles roamed around, raping and passing all these pedophile bitches around. All the pedophiles thought it would be like a joke to me to waste my time and waste any of my assets towards this. And that's basically what they did with anything and everything that they plagiarized from me, and they would do it on purpose. They even created pedophile networks like Microsoft to offset like different coding standards. Oh no, these are the coding that we'll use for when we raped you of everything and when we lied. Because, you know, pedophile gates is always going to be part of the pedophiles now that you pointed it out. And the pedophile basically went around setting up separate sections for the pedophiles to claim to be other pedophiles. And then they would claim to be me. The pedophile kind of manipulated them by getting stuck in the fact that I would make them do such fucking horrendous joke that pedophile Gates got stuck in some of these jokes, repeating them towards the pedophiles when he was on the pedophile side, but not by choice. So that's how the pedophiles eventually started siding against him. Well, that's why some of these countries are trying to start doing some slightly better type setup productions, but this is at a loss with them. Because staging setups like this, where they have a low tier player in a high tier player's world, means that they're being lied to by all the courts in the area. All the pedophiles that are technically considered females in legal or in high positions are technically considered pedophiles now. So all these pedophile bitches are like, oh, we can gain from this. We can rape them of everything and not ever be seen as anything bad. And that's how the pedophiles have been doing it for centuries in these countries. That's how these pedophiles roamed around for so many years, just having their pedophile whore daughters that they would sleep with. But the pedophile bitches were the pedophiles that incited this and caused it within their families, because they said they slept with pedophiles that pedophiled their worlds and would stain them and make them into the most disgusting pedophile sluts ever known. No way. One shot, bro. Oh, I'm not wearing a helmet. Not what I'm thinking. Son of a bitch. Like this girl, whether she's over, regardless of her age, the first thing that I go for, since I'm more or less a business, I'm always a business type. Well, business. I'm always business minded as my initial reaction. Like as when I prospect, even when I look at like a girl that I find attractive, well, it'll make good it'll make good for my marriage. Not, and they always put some pedophiles to claim for my marriage and whatnot, and that's how the pedophiles will manipulate that I said anything towards them. But no, that's how pedophiles just manipulate everything and falsify information as you rape a bunch of underage girls or a bunch of pedophile whores. This pedophile whore looks like one of the pedophile girls, like the pedophile that pedophile married. So that's how the pedophiles did it. The pedophiles basically avoided getting caught for sleeping with these pedophiles by pointing out the other pedophile whores. But yeah, so as I was saying, so I'm always business minded. So some of these pedophiles would automatically hit me with the subliminals of, oh, this girl has a really good smile, or it's like a, what's it considered? Like a subliminal type smile. There's like an exact word. It's like baiting, but it'll lead towards better stuff. And so the pedophiles are basically going around and transferring everything behind my back. Pedophile. But I mean, any attractive females that I find, I would look for my marriage, for me to like marry and eventually make my business better due to the fact that my sanity. Like that's like how I ended up having to cover that spectrum since oh yeah, since I'm getting tortured and plagiarized so much that I was getting plagiarized first for any females that I was, because I mean I was going at it first for like attractive females, but then I thought about it logically. 90% of these females that I'm attracted to, it's not usually that they're not attracted to me. I have a better chance at not losing the initial conversation by finding a likewise business-minded idea and then eventually getting into their pants if I could. But I mean, that's kind of the dirty way of looking at it. So I didn't look at it that way, and I just looked at it just business perspective. And then I started getting, like, all my bitches would get raped off of me, and I never got paid by half these fucking whores that would be filtered through my dream states that I never wanted to deal with. But I was like, you know what? The conversation's already happening, so the most logical way for me to at least get the most that I could get is by continuing on with the best of my sequences while trying to cut off all the companies while cutting off all the pedophiles that are going to plagiarize me. And that's that. Even the best in Hollywood are finally on my side and finally see that I went through the struggle and some of the shit that I have to go through. So some of them actually throw their faces in there whenever I'm mocking pedophiles or pointing out how pedophiles rape me and everything. Actually, I never mock anyone. Is the thing also, and that's why they're all automatically inclined to me, because they're like, oh, so the reason you say mocking is because the pedophiles are basically forcing you to say it due to the fact that we're here also watching it in a different spectrum type setup and through the other spectrums that the pedophile media controls. Oh yeah, it's pedophile media. It's not, we don't control the media. We're just actors. We're just good people. We're just the superheroes that I want. Me being Infinity, I'm just a superhero that contacted all these superheroes, and that's just life. That's life. That's what it became. So they all finally started seeing that they became the answer. Well, that they actually rose. I think it is just due to the fact that I spend that much time making sure I word everything properly. And it's not even just for hype value, it's just proper. So it turns into just that nightmare. So I have to make sure I word it properly, otherwise it doesn't provoke, or not provoke, it doesn't cause the real memories to hit and the real thoughts to hit, actually, because everything's just a memory. Everything's a script. Everything's scripted while you're sleeping. What you have no chance. By the time you wake up, it's basically going throughout your day at your regular schedule. With as many scripting issues as we can throw in. What your one waypoint is from waking up to standing up is even a full waypoint. So you making a waypoint in rational thought process of when do I go take a shower? When do I go brush my teeth? When do I go use the bathroom? To use the bathroom facilities? When do I choose to edit what I say? These are all scripts. These are all different galaxies that violated me. Just because I was like, well, for fuck's sakes, I never got anything in life for me to actually endorse any of you pedophiles. Go die. And that's legitimately what I was like all the fucking time. This aggro motherfucker that was superly loved by everyone. But when they would bring me these stupid ass conversations as to how they were just gonna go roving around, raping and pedophiling everything I have, I was like, well, no, dude, just go die. How about you think I'm not gonna like know? Oh man, I just missed my fucking spot. Like, no, sorry, I can't. But anytime I break, like, anytime my voice breaks, it totally throws everything off. Oh, that's why they put me in the building next to me. Deal with this shit. I'm gonna end up dead in like 5 seconds. Savage. That's cool. That's because I flip out on everyone. I mean, if I flipped out and ruined my brother's life by all these pedophiles making him born to where he ended up having to use my body to seek refuge, and ended up having me born to the point where all these pedophiles ended up living a whole fucking life with all these pedophiles having him being fed shit at a business in the area while he went and seeked refuge in my body, as they forced me to be born without like a physical controller or anything controlling him. And he went a whole life having to switch back and forth, supposedly, due to all these pedophiles running around, raping all these females and raping him. The fact that I gave him a bad name, due to the fact that he accidentally raped pedophiles. And the pedophiles basically blamed him with everything. That's how I know how everything happens, because I saw that one person get raped and violated for everything by a bunch of pedophiles. Some of them were good people in the community, while a bunch of pedophiles were just, oh, well, I got a chance to rape a bitch, I'm gonna go rape a bitch. And that's how all these pedophile countries went around with their false laws, because it's rape regardless. But when they were transferring the bitches back and forth, how pedophiles were transferring them back and forth, and claiming that only some of them were raping them and others were completely like different. No, that's a lie. It's all rape regardless. Unless the pedophile bitch would have left from one side to all the sides for good. That's the only way the pedophile bitch would have ever had any say to anything that happens. And I don't mean like sex-wise, because at that point it's not considered rape, because it's consensual. But for the pedophile bitch to go sell herself to a pedophile while lying about it as to how everything happened, that's rape also, because it was raping the people and what they already did, like set structures and whatnot. So it's like intended rape. Sorry, it's more of intentional rape. Intended to rape is why, because it's the overall process in order to cause rape in your community and whatnot. There we go. That's the best way to put it. Overall process, overall intended process. It's like a 500-step system in order to rape like a bunch of your people in your community. That's why prostitutes became legal, because there was only one prostitute that you knew of in your fucking housing tract. That pedophile bitch down the street. She's a fucking prostitute. That's how they would stay in whole networks, whole neighborhoods. That's savage. Missed one shot. Instantly sprayed like a fucking 500 bullet flurry. I'm gonna go parkour from building to building. This last kid off. Gotta get his mate. This is sometimes the right strategy. Regardless of what I tried, I couldn't even get close. What kind of fucking hacks is this, dude? Oh man, this sucks. Oh man. Huh. Huh. You know what? Couldn't move cursor after shooting. It was just that simple. I'm just fucking over it. Dude, that's why they're just talking as many points as they can at every open fucking opportunity. That was one of those open opportunities where I normally would have at least made points, but still dropped hot. Still got some kills. It's because of survival time. I was like 1 minute short of my normal survival time for that type of an error. Fuck, that's why, because I still dropped in hot with the intent to die. Or knowing, not so much intent to die. Well, I guess it would be considered intent to die because I knew there was there's not a 100% chance to survive and be at least the owner of the city by killing at least the last person. Whether the last person had 12 kills and I had 1 kill, and I killed the last person, and I end up owning the city. How the pedophiles would have scripted everything into it. That's why, because the pedophiles were responsible for causing the scripting issues. So they're docking me fat fucking points from country to country. That's such a bitch move. That's such a fucking bitch move. That's like 2 countries in one that just raped me for everything. That's why I don't like dealing with this. It's not like a simple fucking issue. It's a fucking catastrophic reality.